It's a random Tuesday night. You open your banking app just to quickly check something, and suddenly, your stomach drops. Your balance is way lower than you expected. So you start scrolling through your transactions. $12 for lunch, $18 for takeout, $7 for coffee, $25 on an Amazon purchase you barely even remember making. And you're sitting there thinking, where did all my money go? You didn't buy anything crazy. No luxury watch. No vacation. No massive shopping spree. Just normal stuff. Everyday stuff. And yet, somehow, your money still vanished. If that scenario sounds familiar, you are not alone. Because according to a study from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average household spends over $3,400 per year on dining out alone. That's almost $10 a day, every single day. And the wild part, most people don't even realize they're doing it. My name is Murad, and I spend way too much time thinking about how to fix my spending habits. Now, here's what I need you to understand before we get into the system itself. The real problem isn't discipline. Most people assume their spending problem comes down to willpower. They think, I just need more self-control. I just need to be more disciplined. But honestly, that's almost never the real problem. Because the way most of our bank accounts are set up makes it structurally impossible to control spending, no matter how disciplined you are. And the moment I understood that, everything changed. So let's talk about why the traditional one-account setup is quietly working against you. Here's how most people manage their money. Your paycheck hits your account. Then rent comes out. Groceries come out. Your random online purchases come out. Your subscriptions, your utility bills, your takeout orders, everything flows in and out of the same single account. And psychologically, that creates a massive problem. Because your brain only sees one number. Let's say you check your balance and it says $2,000. Your brain immediately thinks, great, I've got $2,000. But here's what your brain isn't automatically calculating. Rent, $1,200. Utilities, $200. Groceries, $300. Transportation, $150. That's already $1,850 locked up in committed expenses. Which means your actual free spending money is $150. But when you see $2,000 sitting in your account, it feels like you have way more than $150. And that gap, between what you see and what's actually available, is exactly where overspending lives. Here's what most people never get taught. Humans are genuinely terrible at mental accounting. Behavioral economists, including Richard Thaler, who won the Nobel Prize for his work in this exact area, found that people consistently struggle to mentally separate pools of money. When everything sits in one account, your brain treats the entire balance like one giant pile of spending money. And that leads to what psychologists call frictionless spending. It's too easy. You tap your card. You tap your phone. You click buy now. Done. No resistance. No pause. No moment where your brain has to stop and evaluate whether this purchase actually fits your budget. When spending becomes frictionless, your brain stops doing the math. And when your brain stops doing the math, your money disappears, not in dramatic ways, but in quiet, $10 increments that add up to thousands by the end of the year. The solution, it turns out, isn't about trying harder. It's about designing a better system. So I started experimenting. And what I landed on is something I call the two-account system. It's not complicated. It doesn't require a spreadsheet. It doesn't require you to track every latte or feel guilty about every takeout order. It works not because it demands more discipline, but because it removes the temptation entirely. Here's how it works. Step 1, the bills account. The first account has exactly one job. Pay your fixed expenses. We're talking about rent or mortgage, utilities, insurance, your phone bill, internet, subscriptions, anything that shows up every single month like clockwork. When your paycheck arrives, the exact amount needed to cover those bills gets transferred into this account automatically. And here's the rule that makes it work. You do not spend from this account. No debit card. No impulse purchases. No, I'll just grab this one thing. Just bills. That's it. This account exists for one purpose only, and protecting that purpose is what makes the whole system function. Step 2, the spending account. The second account is your guilt-free money. Groceries. Eating out. Entertainment. Shopping. Coffee. Anything that's flexible, anything that's a choice rather than an obligation, comes out of this account. And because this account has a defined, visible limit, something powerful happens in your brain. You stop guessing. You stop doing mental math every time you want to buy something. You don't need to remember what bills are coming up or calculate whether you can afford dinner this week. You just look at one number, and that number tells you exactly where you stand. Let's make this concrete. Say you bring home $3,000 per month. Your fixed expenses look something like this. Rent, $1,200. Utilities, $200. Insurance, $150. Phone and internet, $100. Subscriptions, $50. Total fixed expenses, $1,700. So when your paycheck hits, $1,700 automatically moves to your bills account. That money is spoken for. It's gone. Done. Now you're working with the remaining $1,300. From there, maybe your split looks like this. Spending and groceries, $600. Savings, $400. Investing, $300. Here's where the magic happens. Your spending account now shows $600. Not $3,000. Not $2,000. Just $600. And that single change, seeing $600 instead of $3,000, completely rewires how your brain approaches every purchase for the rest of the month. This is where it gets genuinely fascinating. The two-account system doesn't work through discipline. It works through design. And there's a well-established principle behind this. Your environment shapes your behavior, far more than your intentions do. Think about it this way. If you keep a bowl of candy on your desk, you'll eat more candy. Not because you're weak-willed, but because it's there, it's visible, and grabbing one takes no effort. But if that same bowl of candy is hidden in a cupboard across the room, you'll eat significantly less. Same person, same candy, completely different environment, and completely different behavior. Money works exactly the same way. By separating your accounts, you're essentially moving the candy bowl out of reach. You're not testing your willpower every single day. You're just making it structurally harder to spend money you don't actually have available. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but couldn't I just track this mentally in one account? Couldn't I just keep a mental note of what's committed? Sure. In theory, yes. But in practice, almost nobody does this consistently, and for good reason. Every single purchase requires mental math. And mental math is exhausting. Your brain is constantly looking for shortcuts, and in the context of spending, those shortcuts almost always lead to you rationalizing purchases you shouldn't be making. The two-account system eliminates the math entirely. You check one number. That number is your reality. There's no calculation required. No, wait, is rent coming out this week? Just a simple, honest picture of what you actually have to spend. But here's the part that surprised me most when I started using this system. It didn't just reduce my spending. It reduced my financial stress. Because my bills account was already funded, I wasn't anxious every time a recurring charge hit. When rent came due, I didn't panic. When my insurance payment went through, it didn't feel like a gut punch. The money was already sitting there, allocated, ready, waiting. And that gave me something most people almost never experience with their finances. A genuine sense of control. Not the illusion of control that comes from checking your balance and hoping for the best. Actual, grounded, structural control, built into the system itself. Alright, let's get practical, because setting this up is genuinely simple. Step 1. Open a second checking account. Most banks let you do this in 5 minutes online. Many offer free checking with no minimum balance requirements. Step 2. Rename your accounts. One is bills. One is spending. Simple, clear, no ambiguity. Step 3. Calculate your fixed monthly expenses. Sit down, add up everything that hits your account every month like clockwork. That's your bills number. Step 4. Set up an automatic transfer for payday. Every time your paycheck lands, your bills amount moves automatically to the bills account. Everything else stays in, or transfers to, your spending account. That's it. No complicated budgeting app. No color-coded spreadsheet. No tracking every individual purchase and categorizing it and reviewing weekly reports. Just 2 accounts, one automatic transfer, and a system that does the thinking for you. Look, almost all personal finance advice focuses on the same thing: willpower. Spend less. Budget better. Track everything. Hold yourself accountable. And none of that is bad advice, exactly. But it all assumes that the problem is you, that if you just tried harder, you'd spend less. The two-account system flips that assumption on its head. The problem isn't you. The problem is the environment your money lives in. And when you fix the environment, behavior follows, almost automatically. When your system works with your psychology instead of fighting against it, managing money stops feeling like a constant battle. It becomes something that just works, quietly, in the background, without requiring your attention or your energy every single day. So if you constantly feel like your money disappears before the month is over, If you're tired of checking your balance and feeling confused and frustrated, try this. It takes about 10 minutes to set up, and it can genuinely change the way you think about and interact with money going forward. Because here's the truth, the best financial systems aren't the most complex ones. They're the ones that are simple enough to actually stick. The ones that work with how your brain naturally operates, not against it. You don't need more discipline. You need a better design. This channel is really about one main thing. Not just making more money, but making smarter decisions with the money you already have. I'll see you in the next one.